So our lesson objective today is looking at area unit conversion. So this time, instead of just looking at linear measurements, which there are our centimeters or our millimeters or our meters, things like that, we're looking at when we calculate area, we have to figure out, in this time it might be square centimeters, it might be square millimeters, looking at square units. So remember, we've got square millimeters, square centimeters, squared meters, squared kilometers. I want you to keep in mind that it's written millimeters squared, but the convention is to say squared millimeters. That's just the way it goes. Alright, so if we're going to be converting between all of our different units, we have to have one of our little tables again, and we have to think about whether we are going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit or a smaller unit to a bigger unit. Now, if you remember back to our linear ones, when we were converting from a smaller to a bigger, so small to big, we actually used the divide sign. On the flip side, when we went from big, so like a centimeters to a millimeter, something that is smaller than it, that's when we use our multiply sign. This time we need to think about bigger numbers though, right? So there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, but if we need to think about a squared centimeter, which looks a bit like this, then if we have 10 going along this side and our area is length times width, or side squared, we've got 10 here and we've got 10 going up here because it's another centimeter, so 10 times 10 is 100. So this time the number we need to use to go from squared centimeters to squared millimeters, or vice versa, is 100. So this time it would be, if we went from squared centimeters to squared millimeters, we would have times 100. If we went the other way, it would be divide 100. If we have 100 centimeters in 1 meter, and we have another 100 this way for a squared meter, then 100 times 100 gives us 10,000. So this time our number is 10,000. So to go from squared meters to squared centimeters, we times by 10,000. To go from squared centimeters to squared meters, we divide by 10,000. You can see these numbers are getting huge. Alright, next one. We have to go from kilometers to meters, or back again. So in 1 meter there is 1,000, 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. If we had a square kilometer, we'd have another 1,000 meters on this side, and 1,000 times 1,000 equals 1 million. Right, there's 6 zeros on that one. So you can see these numbers are huge. If we went from squared kilometers to squared meters, we would times 1 million. If we went from squared meters to squared kilometers, we would divide 1 million. Okay,